How can you be able to start a poultry farm in 2025 without having any money, without having any cash? So you're wondering, how can you be able to do that? You're wondering, how can this guy tell me that I can be able to start a poultry farm in 2025 without having a single cent? Yes, you can be able to start a poultry farm in 2025 without having a single cent, and you will be able to grow that venture and have more than 1,000 birds or even over 10,000 USD by the end of the year. You only have to follow one very simple strategy. And in this video, I'll be able to explain to you the really important strategy that you really have to follow so as you can be able to start a poultry farm in 2025 without having a cent. And you can be able to have over 10,000 US dollars at the end of the year. That is if you have sold all your birds, or you can either have over 1,000 birds on your poultry farm and have one of the most successful business venture in the poultry sector. So you only have to follow this blueprint that I will be airing on this video. So stick around and watch till the end. Make sure before we continue with this video, okay, I'm telling you to like and subscribe to the channel before you watch the video, but just try and like and subscribe to the channel so as we can be able to grow the channel. The first way that you can make money in 2025 or start a poultry farm in 2025 without having any kind of money is by becoming a middleman. Who is a middleman? People here in Kenya, mostly they call them brokers. They don't like being called brokers, but those are the people who usually connect the buyer and the seller. These people, there's usually a disconnect between the buyer and the seller. For example, there are other farms who usually advertise their chicks online, and there is this farmer down in the village who doesn't have an access to the internet, who won't be able to see that advert. So we have this kind of middlemen. Most of other people, they usually call them the village ambassadors. They usually connect those people who are maybe offline to people who are online. How am I placing this one? So for example, if you want to start this poultry farm in 2025, you can decide by gaining knowledge in the poultry sector, then you become a middleman whereby you go and purchase chicks from a hatchery, then you sell them off to people in the villages. For example, if you are living deep down in the village and you have this kind of a motorbike whereby you can be able to collect chicks from the hatchery and distribute them to the village whereby there is no access of internet or good roads whereby a car can pass, you can be able to start this business in 2025. The only thing that you need is you having a motorbike. And it's not essentially you having a motorbike. What you can decide to have is that you can decide to use a rider. That is the border guy of you, the border guy that you can use so as he can be able to ferry for you the products from the hatchery up to the villages where you have this kind of clients. So the only thing you have to do is for you to do thorough training. You, to be able to get these farmers in those villages, you'll have to use one very simple strategy. This simple strategy is by the use of training. What you have to do, you have to organize some training sessions on the poultry sector. So first thing I've told you is that you have to do proper research of the poultry sector so as you can have some knowledge of how poultry birds are reared, or how you can go about with poultry farming. So after you have gained that knowledge, then you can go into the villages, then you can start to do some training, okay? And another benefit is that, how can you be able to do research? By watching most of my videos. If you're able to watch most of my videos, then you'll be able to have done enough research so as you can be able to start a profitable and sustainable poultry farming venture by training farmers to those in those deep areas. After you have trained them very well, then they will gain trust in you. After they have gained trust in you, then you'll tell them that you also do training and you also do the supply of day-old chicks to them. If you continue to do that, then they'll gain the trust from you. Then you'll be able to supply to them the day-old chicks or the brooded chicks. You have to start from somewhere. So as you start like that, they will have a trust in you instead of you just becoming a middleman. Because when you become a middleman and you haven't done any kind of training, because most people usually ask me, how will I be able to organize a training and yet I don't have any kind of money? During the school holidays, when the schools have closed, when you go to any public school here in Kenya, I don't know if it happens in other countries, because if you go to any public school here in Kenya and you ask for permission to use one of the classrooms, you won't be denied a chance. For example, you are saying you are doing something good for the community, you want to be able to train these farmers so as they can have the knowledge of how they can be able to rear the poultry birds. They won't be able to not give you a class so as you can be able to train that. And what you'll have to do, you'll only have to walk around. You can have like only 300 to 500 Kenyan shillings that can help you walk around in that village so as you can be able to spread the word of how you'll be able to train the farmers in those areas. And here in Kenya, what we usually do, you have to get engaged with the chiefs and the village elders in those localities, so as you can be able to tell them that there will be a training of poultry farming in that area. If you're able to do that, then you'll be able to get a lot of clients who will come, and the prospects, yes, who will come, and you'll be able to train them. Out of the for example, the 50, you won't miss like 5 to 10 who will want to start a poultry farm in that same year. So when you do that, for example, in a period of like 3 to 4 months, then you'll have gained trust of people in that area. Once you start selling, for example, if you're moving around with that rider of yours, as the rider moves by in these local centers, each local center, when you're dropping some chicks, those people will be able to ask for you a number, those people who are interested, or even those people who can have other people who are interested in doing poultry farming. So maybe they will get the number from you. As you pass when you are doing the deliveries, they will get the number from you. Then you'll be able to become the supplier for them. That is how you can be able to start a poultry farm in 2025 without having any cent, and you'll be able to grow that venture to become very successful. Because from the profits that you usually get from those chicks that you are selling, for example, for us, we usually sell day-old chicks at a wholesale price of 90 bob. So you decide and go and sell at 115 Kenyan shillings. That is 30 bob per chick. Let's say, for example, when you're starting, you are able to sell around 500 birds each week. Okay, because you are moving around 500 birds each week, you are getting a profit, a markup of 15,000 Kenyan shillings. Out of the 15,000 Kenyan shillings, then you decide, let's say like 1,000 for fuel or the border guy, and you remain with 14,000 clean money each week that you are able to get from the day-old chicks that you have sold to your farmers. So what are you waiting? You only have to start. If you're able to start like that, then you can be able to grow your venture in 2025. You can decide that you either put the money in your pocket, or you can invest in the poultry sector, so as you yourself, you can have your own farm, which will enable you and enable your farmers to trust you more and have more belief in what you are doing. Then you'll be able to grow your venture very, very fast. Another way that you can be able to start a poultry farm in 2025, this one goes to our youth, especially for the youth, or even for other people, but mostly I usually say that is usually for the youth. There is something known as the grants. Grants is money that is given to you by some angel investors, and they only want to support you so as you can come out of poverty, so as you can help you to elevate yourself and be able to start something, because you don't have any kind of capital. But capital, I usually talk about capital in this way. Capital, I usually say, richness or someone becoming very rich or very wealthy, it usually comes down to the mindset. It doesn't care who you are. It comes down to the mindset. It doesn't matter even if you win a lottery or a grant of over 10 million US dollars or over 10 million Kenyan shillings. If you have a poor man's mindset, you won't be able to grow that venture. Okay? So I usually say like this: what the most important capital is the brain. Because if you have that rich man's mindset, then you'll be able, even if you win a grant, or even if you start a business with only 50,000 Kenyan shillings, which is around 500 US dollars, you will be able to grow that business to become a very successful venture. So I usually say like this: if you are starting any kind of business, the mindset, you have to have a rich man's mindset. You don't have to have a poor man's mindset, because if you have a poor man's mindset, you won't be able to see yourself in 5 years. You won't be able to have those tangible goals of whereby you can be able to start and grow your business well. So if you're able to access these grants, and I've said most of these grants are usually given to youths and women. So if you are a mature man, you can use your woman or your wife, so as they can be able to access the grants for you. So if you're able to apply, there are very many grants that usually fund ideas. You only have to have a great idea and a great business model, so as it can be able to be tangible enough, so as these guys can be able to give you that money. So these guys, they usually also look at if they are able to see an impact of the money that they will be giving out. So you have to make sure that you have placed your business plan in a way so as they can be able to fund you. So if you're able to get that money, then you decide you'll be able to start a poultry farm in 2025. This one will just go direct for you to start a poultry farm. The best way of how you can be able to start a poultry farm, and I usually keep on saying this, you have to be able to start brooding and selling chicks. That's the best way that you can be able to grow in this venture. You don't have to decide that you are going to rear chicken up to the point of lay. You won't be able to get your money back when you're starting. That is the truth of the matter, but most people won't tell you this. If you decide yes, you are rearing chickens so as they can lay for you eggs, you'll use a lot of money. Okay? For example, if you are decided to keep the layers, I said it will take you 13 months before you break even. So that is a very long time. So you have just to decide that you're only rearing chicks and then you are selling them off. If you do that, then you'll be able to recoup your investment a bit faster. Then after that, after you have grown, maybe then that's where you decide that I'll be able to keep chickens so as for the purposes of eggs, after you have had enough money. So don't start poultry farming by rearing chicken up to the point of lay. Maybe you can rear them for the purposes of meat. Maybe you can decide to rear broilers. If you have a ready market for the broilers, that is the way better. But for the layers, it usually takes a very long time. You won't be able to manage that amount of money that I'm telling you by the end of the year if you decide to rear layers. And here in Kenya, we have a backlog of over 6 months. So if you decide to pay cash now, you'll get your chicks in June. Then you have to raise them for, remember your money, if these guys are staying with your money, that money should be doing something. They have stayed with your money for a whole 6 months. Then you have to wait another 6 months before your chicken start laying. Then you have to wait for another 8 months before you break even. So you have to waste 2 years. Why should you waste 2 years? I actually tell you guys, start with something that makes you money very fast. Okay, people usually say that, oh, something that comes faster doesn't last for long, but it depends with the strategy. You only have to have the best strategy, okay? Because it's not that it's coming fast. You are rearing the chicken and you are selling them off as brooded chicks. And that's why I usually tell you guys, make sure that you really watch all my videos. Because if you watch most of my videos, then you can be able to get a lot of knowledge in this channel. Because there are so many things that I've talked in this channel over the years, and I can't put them all in one video. So you have to watch all those videos. Sometimes I usually just come and I get the snippets part into some of my videos, but I don't get into the nitty-gritties of how or well detailed or how I analyzed in a certain video. So make sure you watch most of my videos. If you're able to watch most of my videos, then you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. So guys, let me show you how we are able to weigh some chicken. And this is how we usually do the distribution of some chicken. So we are weighing some chicken over here. These ones have reached the market sale, the age to be sold. So what you're using this Vect electronics. So that one is 1.5. I think that one is a bit low. This one is on the lower side. So our target is around 1.6 and above. Those ones are the ones that are ready for slaughter properly. These chicken are only 10 weeks of age. That one is 1.4. That one is lower. This one is a bit heavy. This one, I think it can reach around, I look at it, this one can be around 1.8, 1.9, 1.699. So that is 1.7. This one is enough. This one can be slaughtered. So this is what we are using to transport the chicken so as they can be going to be slaughtered. They are only 10 weeks of age. So those are 6. So this one, that one is very heavy. You can see it's 1.898. That one is very heavy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7. 7 birds. Hii inaweza kuwa 1.8. 7 birds now. Let's see. Yeah, 1.9. That one is 1.9. As you can see, it's 1.9. Hiyo imetosha hiyo. And this one 1.8. Hapa imebaki kuku mbili ijae. Hizo mbili zimesimama huko juu za white kabisa. Karibu white. Hii imefika. $1.7. This one is okay to be slaughtered. The average weight we want to slaughter is 1.6. So if it's above that, meaning that it's ready to be slaughtered. Relax. That means that it's ready to be slaughtered. I want to look for one that is ready to be slaughtered. This one is quite heavy. Relax. That one 1.5. 1.5. But it looks heavy. So it's, I think it hasn't reached the weight to be slaughtered. 1.6. If it reaches the 1.6, it's ready to be slaughtered. Kamoja kametoka. Hey. Haka nikamchanja aje wa. Hey. Weight yake iko distributed even. $1.6. If it reaches 1.6, it's ready to be slaughtered. So when you are doing this, make sure that you really check on the corners, because you may end up finding out that some chicken usually crowd themselves around the corners, and that can lead to suffocation of some chicken that are weak. Yes. Bakisha kuku 10. Ikoje? Oh, nyepesi. Nitafika 1.6 ba. 1.56. Ikoje? Kuna nguvu? Na ya white ni jogo ama ni kepesi? Haya inakaa nyepesi. That's very fast, man. But iko na nyama. Very agile. This one is ready, but it's really running away. Why should you run away? Hey, they're extremely fast. Huh? Si mzito. Na hiyo anga tulika kapima amani. Tulia. You know the benefit of this scale is that it doesn't have the chicken. 1.4. Yeah, at least 1.5. Kubwa kwa mtazamo. One point?